To me, there's nothing better than going out and exploring some awesome new trails somewhere. So, as you can imagine, that's exactly what this week's video is all about. Today, I met up with my mate Jim, who knows these trails like the back of his hand. He wanted to take me on an adventure to ride some epic trails, and he didn't disappoint. Making our way from the car park, we went off in search of something cool to ride. To get things started, we found a couple of flow trails just to get into the swing of things. These are fast, flowy and interesting. There are no huge features on here, but there are plenty of small kickers and tree stumps to watch out for. The view isn't half bad either. Riding new trails blind is always a daunting experience, so I'm really lucky that I've got Jim to lead the way today.
That was cool!
We ended up covering a lot of ground on this ride, and I'd never have managed to find half of these trails on my own. Although, trying to keep up with a local on their home turf is not always the easiest thing to do either. Even as a couple of warm-up trails, these had some really fun features. I love the small kickers everywhere. They really add an extra bit of excitement to what is essentially a wiggly line down a hill. These two trails were a great introduction. Once we'd conquered the runs on the bunny slopes, we headed off to find some harder trails. Jim wanted to show me what this place really has to offer. The next trail we rode started off flat, but it didn't stay that way for long. This is a long piece of single track that works its way across the hillside. On its way, it takes you over a couple of awesome drops with nice long runouts. But then it heads into a really steep and loose end section. This bit is awesome fun. As well as the loose loamy dirt, all of these trails have plenty of roots hiding just around the corner ready to jump out and get you. You definitely need to be light on the pedals and focused on what you're doing.
That was good.
Psyched on that last trail, we drop straight into another one, which starts with this little entrance kicker. This trail has a bit of everything. It's fast, steep, really engaging, and has plenty of sharp corners. I always enjoy riding trails like this in the woods. The shape of these trails tends to be dictated by the trees, and they usually work well with the landscape. It allows for a more exciting line as you move through the trees and potentially some great natural features. Riding like this is very different to a trail centre, where everything is laid out smoothly and designed to work. With natural trails, it's up to you to keep looking ahead and get yourself in the right position. There's definitely less room for error riding trails like this. Every time I ride trails like this, I start to think about things that would help alter my bike setup. Different tyres, cutting down my handlebars or bleeding my brakes again. These trails are really good for you to find out what kind of rider you are. For example, you may be someone who likes to ride drops at trail centres, but things are very different when you're out here and you combine a drop with an uneven landing, tight corners, or just back-to-back awkward features. You get to see what kind of riding you're really capable of, especially when you don't know what's coming around the next corner. As for this trail, it's a really good line that works really well. You can tell that a lot of effort has gone into creating it, as it has with all of the trails here. All the berms and drops are hand-built and they make the best use of the natural features. Bear in mind that I'm just showing you a small section of the trails that are on offer here. There are so many more, which would have taken hundreds of hours to create and maintain.
That was good.
On that note, the keen-eyed among you may have noticed that I haven't actually told you where these trails are. And there's a good reason for this. Whilst we were riding some amazing sections, we came across some that had unfortunately been blocked by trees that were purposely felled across the trails. It was clear that the powers that be don't want us riding in certain places.
Oh no.
And we have to respect that. So the bad news is, although I can show you the trails, I can't tell you exactly where they are, through fear that more may be shut down. But to be honest, at this point in the ride, I was well and truly lost anyway. And if Jim had run off and left me, I'd still be stuck in the woods now. So heading back on the main paths, Jim had one more trail he wanted to show me. Again, this one starts off on the flat but has a steep ending. Knowing how quickly the trails can go from 0 to 60, I was keeping a close eye on Jim. I wanted to leave enough space so I could see what was coming, but not too much that I can't follow his line. It turns out that the first part of this is a really nice flow trail. It's great to see that you can get a complete range of trail types in one single location like this. It has everything from steep tech trails to calm flowing lines. Unless you're with someone who knows the trails, it's always worth going a bit cautiously on your first run, just in case you're blindly going over something that's a bit above your skill level. But meeting up with a friend and going on a ride like this is a great way to explore trails. I love it when you don't really know where you're going, but you're able to link a few good downhill trails together to make a good day out of it.
Ooh. That was good.
So after a day's riding, I was absolutely buzzing. With the summer already here, I can't wait to pack the longer days with plenty more rides like this. So on that note, remember to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with the action. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.